I just got back from a film this evening that I enjoyed very much. It stars Jesse Eisenberg as a character that takes karate and it changes his life, and I enjoyed it.
Karate changes a man.
I throw punched you right there. That's what I did. That's a technique.
You just got demonetized for violence.
They don't. Well,
no deadly weapons.
Sometimes it happens.
Just...
Thank you for saying it's a deadly weapon.
Yeah.
So I'm sort of talking in slightly monotone ways and overly explaining what I'm doing within this movie review for a movie that I enjoyed watching. And I think that if you enjoy dark comedies, you're really going to enjoy the art of self-defense. Jesse Eisenberg was born to play this role. Yeah. This sort of geeky, very socially awkward guy who gets pushed around and isn't well respected anywhere. And he has this intense desire to not be that way anymore and be the thing that he fears, be these other men that intimidate him.
He's tired of being scared. Mm-hmm. So picks up this class. I really like this movie because it kind of reminded me of Napoleon Dynamite and The Foot Fist Way. These were just like some films that had like dry humor. Mm-hmm. Upon second watching, it gets better. And I think with this film, the more you watch, the better it gets.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great dark comedy. I didn't think I was going to like this very much. There's something about the way that the trailers I saw, but it completely surprised me because I haven't quite forgiven Jesse Eisenberg for Lex Luthor because Jolly he's still the whole Jolly Rancher thing. But he kills it as on this role. He was born to play this guy. He is so awkward and such a coward, and he doesn't deserve any of the things that happened to him. But he's afraid of everything in his life, and so he takes karate to kind of get his confidence, and then weird dark shit starts to happen, and it's really good.
It is. The way it's filmed and how it sort of slowly devolves into or slowly opens up into a really interesting plot. You think it's mainly just about Jesse sort of empowering himself and becoming something different and trying to change his life, and it gets pretty crazy, and I really enjoyed the story. And although it's outrageous when you take it at face value, because it goes over the top in certain areas, most definitely, almost like you're in kind of a dream world, not really a dream world, but it's like they don't really have to deal with consequences, it seems like, but I think that it was done all on purpose, and really carried the film nicely. Jesse, with his character and his relationship with his dog and things like that. So
I only had a couple problems with the film. I think that they could have done a little better job to make things a little less transparent. I mean, it wasn't just foreshadowing. They show you something, you're like, okay, now I know how this thing is going to resolve, and I wish you had just like shrouded it a little bit more, so I wouldn't have known what was happening. But it's not so much that I didn't enjoy the film. I think that if there's going to be a point that of something I didn't like, that was the big thing for me. Yeah,
because there's really not much to it. I mean, we basically just told you what it is. It's about some geeky guy wanting to not be a geek anymore and take control of his life and be a man, and what it's like to be a real man. And I think it does make some commentary on some toxic masculinity and what some men believe what is a real man, and the way they treat women. I'm not really sure how deep that goes. I think maybe you can even look at it as sort of a feminist take. You can even kind of think that that a lot of this stuff is alluding towards patriarchy and things like that. But I didn't really like you said, Alex. We talked about it before. You didn't see. I don't see it.
I don't see it. It's there. It's absolutely there because of the character. I mean, just the characters, right? It's a 1980s.
The way they talk about women being not useful. They shouldn't do karate, and they're just generally weak.
Yeah, but it's not so heavy-handed that even someone who's sensitive about the matter in either direction isn't going to like it because of it or not like it because of it.
Did you guys take karate?
Yeah, of course. I took karate. I don't even remember what belt I achieved. I think I just stopped at yellow. which is the next belt up from white, at least the one that I went to.
Did you?
No, I didn't. Well, I had a friend who worked at a
Everybody
dojo,
does.
so like we would go and like hang out after in like when we were all just like first got jobs in high school. But no, I never did it as a kid.
Karate empowers you, and
It
I do
does.
know the way you feel with the way he felt. He wants to always wear his belt, even like in real life situations, because he feels safe. It's a safety blanket, and it makes you transform into a different person when you're in the dojo, and you really you get addicted to that feeling. And I think
Get
that's
a good high.
yeah, I think they alluded to a lot to that, and then basically on how society is structured as well. They talk a lot about the hierarchy of the karate, but they're really alluding to the hierarchy in life. And so I think there's a lot of subtle things, and like Alex said, you can read into it as deep as you want. You know what I mean? You can go very light and say, oh, it's not really making a political point. It's not really making a social point. Or you can think that it's all about that. So, and when a film is open to interpretation like that, I think it's cool, even though the story is really straightforward and the story is quite enjoyable. And I really, really enjoyed it. It's dark. There's a reason why they call it a dark comedy. So,
If you like movies with clever dialogue, I think this is like clever and kind of the.
it's so dry. It's so matter of fact.
Yeah, it was a pleasure to watch, and I was really surprised, and I'm glad I saw it.
I'm definitely keeping an eye on this director. He's from Austin, Texas, too.
Yeah, I kind of want to watch this again. Like I said, with the other movies, you watch it the second time, it gets
his
better.
name?
Riley Stearns.
Yeah, he's good. So let's go ahead and give some final verdicts for it.
Yeah. I'm going to give this a 7. I really enjoyed it. It was a good film. The characters were all great. None of them really were annoying or anything, and it was great character development by Jesse's. So 7 out of 10 for me.
I really like this one too. I think that the dialogue was really clever. I like most of the characters. I think that it kind of dragged a little bit through some parts, and I think, like I said, that there was things that were so transparent that I wanted to kind of have the story unfold slowly. And I think if you're just even moderately paying attention, you know exactly what's going to happen. And I think that that kind of knocks a point off. So I think. I mean, I'm between like a 7 and an 8, but like I like this. If you're into a dark comedy, I think this is like an 8 out of 10.
Yeah, like they've said already, the characters are fascinating. The sensei who runs the dojo, his lines are very funny. We saw this in a live early screening where they were broadcasting it, I think in Brooklyn or somewhere, and there was the actors were being interviewed, and
it was the most
like,
awkward,
why did you take the role? And they were just being blunt as hell.
Yeah.
and that's sort of like the movie is, and I really like that. And all the characters act that way. And if it seems like I'm sort of low energy, it's like, no, I'm trying to match the energy of the film where it's just kind of a matter of fact. And yeah, it's really good. Really, really good if you like those sorts of things. And even if you don't, I think that this is one that you can venture out and watch and test the waters a little bit and see if you're more into these kind of artsy films or that do something a little bit different outside of the Hollywood norm. So yeah, check it out. Art of Self-Defense. I think I'm going to go with an 8 out of 10. I did really enjoy it, and it's good. It's good. So thank you so much for watching. We're going to go ahead and jump into spoilers for this one. I don't think this is a limited release. I couldn't find anything about that, so I think it will be in all theaters. And we honestly had a great time at the theaters today. We saw 2 movies. We're going to review also another movie coming up, so take a look at that. If not, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the spoiler section. Bye, guys. Spoiler section for Art of Self-Defense. So, what the hell is this thing about?
He gets beat up. He gets mugged in the very beginning of the film. And then it kind of crushes him. He doesn't go to work for like 4 weeks, and he actually ends up in the hospital. And he's already a timid, quiet, like I don't want to say call him a coward, but he's kind of a coward. And then he stumbles by a karate studio, and he comes in and asks for lessons, and starts taking him. And then the story just
First, he goes to a gun store thinking that
yeah.
maybe he can use self-defense. I need something that will maybe, gun that'll fit in my hand. You mean you're looking for a handgun, right? Yeah, I'm looking for it. That's the kind of comedy that's in there. I really... the story, he's like, basically the sensei's like, do not go in this room. I know you could tell something's up. And after he gets beat up, right away, I kind of noticed that these guys are going to be the motorcycle thieves or the hoodlums. So when you say that the film was predictable, at least in that way, I was like, I don't think that takes away from it at all.
Well, it did.
But for you, it took away from it.
It did
a
absolutely, because I don't think that there was a need for them to have it be as heavy. I mean, they clearly show. I mean, you see a female bike rider, you see a bunch of the other dudes.
Would it be better for you? I'm just curious in the way they wanted to tell the story, to have the motorcycle gang be a completely separate faction, or use lackeys where you can see their face, and then the sensei ends up being the leader, almost like a more evil version of Cobra Kai or something.
It could do something like that.
Would that have been better?
Yeah, because once I knew it was happening, there wasn't the tensions like, oh, how is he going to figure it out? It's like, well, it's very clear because he tells you that, oh, we do stuff at night. With the night class. You're not invited to the night class. And it's like, well, now you've told me how this is going to happen.
But I think that was done on purpose, though, so that you have this sort of frightening, electrifying tension, and there's something not quite right with this sensei and the night class. And when they have their confrontations, and when he's speaking very slowly and methodically,
and when the guy's not supposed to be in the night
and
class,
he's not supposed to be in the class, and he fucking snaps his fucking elbow in two, bone comes out, blood everywhere, and get the fuck out of here. Who he later kills. Either he commits suicide.
I think he committed suicide.
Because
he was saying, even after these students
We're talking about a blue belt who wanted to really move up in the ranks and go to night class and be the best.
Yeah, the sensei was doing a whole bunch of shady stuff. He's forcing these guys to pay for his karate class even after they're done. So he's just blackmailing them.
Yeah, well, and so in this room that has been locked off for a while, he's basically has a crematorium. He burns bodies of people that he fucking kills and steals just petty stuff, like a petty
It's
crime.
the 80s, man. There was no police in the 80s.
What was the point in this criminal ring?
Yeah,
I don't know.
But
it's more
to sign up for karate.
Yeah, I think so. To simultaneously, because remember, he says, sign-ups are going through the roof. I need somebody who's an accountant, and he hires on Jesse's character.
Because he's blackmailing all of his former students to continue paying because he has them on videotapes of them breaking.
That's why I thought they were going to kind of dive into more of his character and find out more of his stuff, but they didn't really talk about him much. But I was like, okay.
So I love Jesse's relationship with his little peanut dog, his little and it just killed me to see that, one day he comes home and his dog is fucking dead. And it was just, I hate it when movies do this. It just affects me, and I'm fucking
That's how
hate it.
you know they're bad guys.
But
he
goes fucking John Wick. Not really. But he gets fucking pissed, and he goes right back to the dojo because he has an idea. He thinks it's the sensei.
Well, he knows because his dog was punched. The vet's like, I know my dog's your dog's been punched, but with a foot. And so,
he's like, I know that's not possible. I know it doesn't make any sense. But it's as if your dog was kicked with a punch. And obviously they say that at the dojo, and he fucking goes straight to the dojo, disrespects it by walking on the mat with shoes, taking food. I'm feeling a little thirsty after I ate all this food. Spits the food out and drinks and spits it. And the sensei comes out and they have a confrontation. Did you kill my dog? Just the way the dialogue is set up, and these characters who we're fascinated with, and there's Dangerous, and then this plucky guy who you're rooting for. It's just great fucking scenes, and these actors are really doing a good job of selling all these things. He tries to fight him there, but he's like, and he just fucking knocks him out, and he should have known at that point that this isn't gonna end. But apparently he convinces him, no, I didn't kill your dog. you know. And
Yeah,
that's
he says it 3 times. You believe? I mean, they show that Jesse's power level is ramping up because like Jesse walks up to a car and karate chops the mirror off, and then he kicks the tires and the tires explode, and then he like karate chops something else in half, and you're like, oh man, is he getting stronger?
So there's like surreal aspects to the film because you can't kick a fucking car tire and deflate the fucking tire in a single kick. Joe.
He did
the
one.
Can Hadouken do that?
Yes, this man can do anything.
I don't know, Joe. Anyways, so by the end, and here's the thing that we were talking about potential, you know, the social justice aspect and the patriarchy, is that these men are constantly, or the sensei in particular, it just believes that women have no purpose in karate, they're weak, and you know,
he uses her
really
to
starting to
the
believe
kids.
that the fact that she's a woman is preventing her from becoming a real man. You know what I mean? That kind of stuff, preventing her from being a man. You know, basically. Yeah. And they have a lot of homoerotic stuff. So once they, you know, sort of, you know, finish beating each other up,
in this one.
They take their clothes off and they rub each other's bodies while they're naked, or some of them leave their boxers on. And then he basically, the first time, and this is at the night class, the legendary night class that all this happens, where they kick the fuck out of each other and then they massage each other. He's like, you don't get to, you know, massage the guys. I'm going to show you where you will go just this one night. I really apologize about it. He's being sincere. And I'm like, oh, fuck, is he going to, like, fucking kill him or just push him over or, I don't know, be mean to him or try to do something he doesn't want to do? But no, he goes to the women's locker and there's the one girl in there.
It's a maintenance closet.
Closet. And he's like, sorry, women, her hands are fucking weak. And
she won't be able to massage you as good as a man would, but, you know.
But it's better than you self-massaging yourself. So, and they sort of form a little bit. He forms a relationship with her, not like a romantic relationship, but just a friendship. And that's a thread through here that girl actually saved his life. It's revealed once he's looking through the videotapes of the time that the karate biker gang
which is weird. What does he do with those tapes? Because there's copies.
That's blackmail.
But he has copies of them. He's like volume 13. He's up to volume 13.
Okay, so that's what his business is. It's like when you know the hobos that beat each other up
and
people film it and sell it on the.
So he does that.
That's what it is. They're like snuff films, but like karate beating people up and killing them.
Because he had stacks of them.
Yeah. So that's what it was, and they were gonna kill him, but it is the girl that says, oh, "Did you hear that? I hear sirens coming." And everybody's like, "We don't hear sirens coming." She's like, "But it's my feminine ears that can hear them a lot further than." And they're like, "Really? Okay, let's get out of here."
It was funny.
Yeah, it was very funny. You know, so she has her. They constantly, you know, keep her down. She's earned the right to move up, and he's really just keeping her
after she kicks everyone's ass.
Yeah, I mean, at one point he gives this other guy the black belt before she does, and she thought she was talking her up, but no. And then he's like, move down the hierarchy. I am now above you, blue belt or whatever belt.
She beats the shit out of him.
Brown belt. Right, and then she beats the fuck out of him in night class just to prove a point that she is a better fighter than he is. So they got that whole plot line, where eventually she becomes the dojo leader. Because Jesse, it's a little weird because I feel like, did Jesse really understand that he killed his dog and then just accepted it, or he accepted his excuse? And he's like, no, maybe he didn't kill my dog. It was somebody else.
He knows the guy with the.
So he knows that the gang killed his dog, but he isn't sure which one, and he's gonna let it go until he can figure out which one actually did it. It wasn't. He believes the sensei that the sensei didn't kill his dog, so he works for the sensei. And then later on in his house, he notices the sensei or the biker gang or whatever, probably the sensei, gave him a German Shepherd because they had talked about it in the in the room where it's like, what kind of music do you listen to? Adult contemporary? No, fuck that shit. You're listening to heavy metal. It was fucking badass.
Is that why you do it?
No, that's not why I do it. I listen to it because it's a fucking great ass of beats and drums really fast and the riffs and the breakdowns. But this kind of music does scare people. When you're listening to it and they roll up their windows and shit and they think that you're, I don't know, tough, especially if you got the look with it, which is what the sensei was all about. So he gives him the German Shepherd, and then like right at that point, he's like, I've had enough. I'm going to fucking kill the sensei. But not before the biggest part where the sensei hasn't beat up some random guy in a bar.
Yeah.
I mean, I was just like in middle of the film because the sensei's all about blackmailing his students in order to get them to do stuff. So he's like he pretty much he beats up. He tells them that it's one of the guys who mugged him. Sensei knows better, so he just beats up a innocent dude.
And he knew it wasn't him.
Well, yeah.
So he just went along with it.
Yeah. So.
Here, one of my favorite jokes that happened though in this whole thing was when Jesse had his, whenever he has his belt on, he has this sense of security, like he could take on the world. But then he goes to the office, he doesn't have his belt, so then he gets these belts made.
Yeah.
He's like, I got a yellow belt,
custom leather belt.
but the company only let me order these if I ordered 50.
Yeah.
So I made some for the whole class.
And the sensei loves it.
Yeah,
and he gives
he's
him
like,
a black
here's a
belt.
black
He's like, oh,
He's like, oh,
a black
I love
I
it.
will cherish this black belt. That's funny. I hope you're not watching this without watching the damn movie, because
Yeah.
it will ruin these. Otherwise, they don't sound that funny, but trust me, the mood that the movie sets up, they're funny. They're really interesting and fascinating little doodads. And they all wear the belts, too. When he basically decides, okay, fuck this, I'm not gonna deal with this anymore, and we get a peek inside the sensei's life where he comes early every fucking day, cleans up blood, takes care of any dead bodies or whatever, and then he's meditating in front of his old master. Which, by the way, do you think that his old master was killed by the sensei? You know what I'm saying? Because remember, he had a horrible accident, and I was like,
No, I don't think so.
No.
I was like, maybe.
No,
I was like,
he didn't look like the guy that would use a gun.
Yeah.
He just want to use his fist.
okay, I see what you're saying, because but he could have just been, I don't know, saying that. But yeah, so the sensei has this rainbow fucking belt
He
in
made
this
himself.
picture. He looks
It's like hot
ridiculous.
glue gunned together too.
Maybe he survived the Grand Sensei, and we can get a sequel where he takes on the Grand Sensei. I want this to be a franchise.
I would watch it.
How awesome this was. Anyway, so he's sort of honoring him, and then Jesse comes up behind him, almost like in a black gi himself, like he's basically challenging him for the dojo, and he says, "I'm gonna kill you." And he's like, and I challenge you to unarmed combat. And he's like, but you're gonna lose. I'm better at fighting than you are. And he's like, well, this is something I have to do. And they're very respectful to each other, and they take it very serious. And I expected it. It's like, all right, let's do it. I'll fight you later on tonight. But no, he stands up, a little bit later, and he stands up, and then they go and
They bow.
and they bow, and then he fucking shoots him in the head, Jesse. And it turns out he did buy the gun,
Surprise!
then he walks right up to him and says, I got two things to say to you. What does he say?
There are no, you said something about I had to play by the rules, but there are no rules, and then
he quotes a television show that he saw, and he also said, knowing you probably would have thought that using a gun is weak, because the 11th rule on the dojo is to guns are for the weak. But I would argue that you're the one that's weak, because I am alive and you are dead.
Yeah.
And being dead is weak. He doesn't say that part, but that's funny too. So just great. And then he's got the whole class in front of him. You're like thinking, wait a minute, these guys, they might react badly to it. They might attack him, but no, they are kind of scared of him. He's kind of be the next dojo
He shoves
leader.
his index finger through the bullet hole and tells them it's like, well, I use the Grandmaster's lost technique of punching through his skull with my index finger and blowing out the back of his head. So I didn't use a gun, I used my finger. And because I have this power, this is now my...
This is my dojo now.
Yeah, this is my dojo.
And they all believe him, and he's like, fucking everybody, put your hands out. And some of them do, and some of them, everybody does it. And he brings his German Shepherd indoors, and he notices the one guy that earned the black belt over the girl has his dog bit him. He has a dog bite on it.
That's also the same guy that whooped his ass and almost killed him.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's the guy that did all those things. And he orders his German Shepherd, who we see off screen. He bonds with him, and he is the alpha. So he has transformed legitimately into an alpha dog. And he has the dog kill that dude, and everybody is fucking scared. But he's not the sensei. He passes that honor to the girl who earns it. In his opinion,
she's been there since day one.
Yeah.
and she has earned it. She's probably a better fighter than him too. And then he does what the sensei was originally offered him a position. Originally offered him to teach the children, and so you hear in the background Jesse, teaching the children. That's kind of how it ends. Yeah. So I mean, he legitimately does learn karate, and he does get powerful, as you were saying, because they.
Well, you think, but all of these things are by himself, so it could just be him imagining that he's like kicking tires and making them explode. So.
That is true.
I mean, it's
of
a
that.
fantasy movie, but it was good.
Yep. All right, so those are the spoilers for The Art of Self-Defense. We highly recommend you see it. And Jesse, this was great. This is you at your best. I know you're probably getting upset that people typecast you as this character, right? But you play it so well,
It
man.
does.
It really does. And so this makes up maybe a little bit for Lex Luthor.
No. He killed it here, but
He does for me because honestly, that never existed. I don't
Right.
know. What are you talking
How
about?
dare you?
It
Never heard
doesn't
of it.
exist.
All right, so that's it. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe show. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.